All right, well, first things first, just want to apologize because I do have laundry going right now, and I know it may be a little distracting, some of the sounds you'll hear in the background. Anyways, so for this video, what I wanted to get into is something I don't think I've seen anybody do regarding Pentax cameras whatsoever. No ifs, ands, or buts. Search it online, look for it, good luck. We're going to talk about in-camera processing. So sometimes, unfortunately, you're out at an event, you're doing your shoot, you don't actually have your laptop with you, but you want to work on some of the images. Say the images need to be done right away. They need to be provided to the client. You don't have your stuff with you, it's back at the hotel or whatnot. You know, for whatever reason, they changed the script. They want it immediately. What can you do? Even if you're shooting RAW, you can actually process that raw image, save it as a TIFF or a JPEG with custom functions, the custom image parameters, cross-processing, changing the saturation, the hue, the color, the white balance, all that stuff. So that's what we're going to get into today. Let's just dive right into it. Blah! Alright, so first up, we're going to be looking at the RAW development, converting a RAW image file into a JPEG or a TIFF. And you can select multiple images, single image, and you can change it to TIFF. You can change the color space from sRGB to Adobe RGB, change the aspect ratio if you want to make sure that they're good for Instagram and things like that. You can set 1:1. 4:3. Like there's a lot of options available in order to actually finish off your in-camera processing. And I have actually had to use this, as I was saying before. There was a client, he provided the SD card for me. I was shooting in JPEG because I knew he wouldn't be able to use the RAWs. And from there, there were some images that were a little dark, so I just changed the exposure. A couple of them, the white balance was off, so I went in, changed the white balance. It actually worked out beautifully. So this does actually come in handy. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with doing the in-camera processing as long as you take your time, you do a good job, don't overdo it. The one thing that I do like is that the little color wheel thing, so you can see exactly how much of a difference each parameter is actually changing the rendition of all the colors and the saturation and everything. And then from there, you can fine-tune each one of the custom image modes and everything. You can increase the saturation of all the different colors and the contrast and the sharpness, and there's just a lot that you can actually do. And if you pay attention to the image of little Frida Frog there, you can see that as these are changing, as I go through all these different options and parameters and everything. That's funny. Oh man. Froggy fisheye, nice. Anyway, yeah, so when you're actually going through all these, as you can see on the screen here, they do make a remarkable difference. Some of them are subtle, some of them are way crazy. I don't even know how to explain that. But some of the changes are a bit more subtle, but they do actually make a big difference. Obviously, doing the in-camera processing is not going to be the same as doing processing with dedicated software. But in a pinch, this is brilliant that they've actually included the amount of in-camera editing that you can actually do. I'm sure Sony, Nikon, Canon have it as well, and Fuji, Olympus, Panasonic. I'm sure they all have it as well, but the way this is laid out and the amount that you can actually change and how much of a difference it really makes is what actually blew me away. And like even this extract color one, it actually does, it actually is pretty accurate. It actually does work. I was very, very shocked once I figured out the actual colors that I needed to change, which you'll see here in a second. So now the chair is good. A little bit of Frida. I guess there's some reflection in there under the white chin. And then I figured out, wait, okay, no, it's not green, it's not red. Okay, so that's for the chair. And let's go back down and we'll try this one. And you can select multiple colors to extract. So I figured out, there we go. So it's more on the yellow side of things. And so Free to Frog became yellow. Chair was standard color. And then now we get into the actual exposure for the brightness and everything. And I think under that, yeah, is the saturation. You can see it's very subtle. It does change. It is pretty subtle though, which I actually like because it's harder to overdo the editing with some of the parameters that you can adjust. It doesn't go way, way, way overboard. It seems to just be enough between minimum and maximum. So again, this is, to me, it's an invaluable option that is available. Not everybody uses it. And again, I have never seen any reviewer or anyone actually bring up the fact of the depth of options available for editing within the actual camera. On the previous screen, there was a thing for ISO, so you can actually do exposure compensation after the fact, which I think is awesome. And you can rotate the image, you can crop the image, you can resize the image. You can edit your movies and trim the movies and things of that nature as well. Like, there's just so many options, and I mean, it would be a really long video for each one of these. So I just wanted to give a quick preliminary overview, and just to let all of you also know, I have no idea why the image couldn't be processed. But again, just so you all know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the in-camera processing, whether you're shooting RAW or you're a JPEG shooter, doesn't matter. Pentax brings so much to the table, and I am really trying to push to make sure that everyone's aware of it. Until next time, keep on shooting.